play music together sometimes, not anymore, but
What do you play?
I'm a drummer.
And Mr. Harris, what do you play?
I'm a guitarist.
So you knew each other from music,
Yeah.
you know, gigs.
Yes.
Would you consider yourself friends?
Yeah, we were friends. I wouldn't have agreed to do that deal with him if he wasn't my friend.
How long did you know him at the time?
I say at the time, maybe about 12 years, 10, 12 years.
So you were selling this car, and you asked if he wanted to buy it, and you noticed that he didn't have a car at the time?
Yeah, you know, I have a band of my own, and he was one of the musicians in the band. And a couple of times in a couple of my shows, he showed up in a taxi or a Uber or something like that. And me observing that, I just felt that it would be nice if he could have something to drive in and help his work situation out a little bit better for him and his family.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Harris, at the time, you didn't have a car?
Yeah, at the time, my car had just went out.
Was it in the shop?
It was being repaired. Yeah.
Repaired? Okay, but there was some interest in possibly buying his Cadillac.
Yes.
And so you two came up with an agreement, which I thought was pretty nice, that he would drive the car for almost 2 months and decide within those 2 months whether he'd want to buy it or not.
Yes.
And so he provided proof of insurance.
Yes.
This was a signed agreement?
Yes.
So what happened a month later when you got this call from Mr. Harris about the car in an accident?
You know, being that he's a friend of mine and I know him and his wife and his family, I just asked him, was he okay?
Okay.
And then a couple of days later, after we talked about, you know, what happened, and we went to go view the vehicle at the tow yard, and it was demolished. But at that particular point, you know, he was going through his proceedings with whatever he had to deal with as far as his insurance company and whatever he had to deal with. And at that particular point, it was just for me to just hear from him or wait and see what was going to go on in regards to my car.
And this accident happened in 2018.
Yes.
So almost 5 years ago.
Yes.
Let's look at the car. This is the Cadillac before the accident?
Yes.
Okay. And this is what it looked like after the accident. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Mr. Harris, tell me about your wife's injuries.
Well, she sustained injury to her wrist and arm because she saw the situation about to happen. She put her hand up when she did that. The impact kind of messed up her wrist and everything.
And it was the other driver's fault?
Yes, yes.
You mentioned in your answer that there was a settlement agreement for her injuries. Whose insurance did you go through?
The driver.
Okay.
Her insurance company.
The other driver's insurance paid for your wife's injuries?
The attorney went to her towards her insurance because I wasn't at fault.
Why was there no settlement for the car?
When I went to the attorney, his first thing was, this is a pretty good case and you should be getting a pretty good amount of money for this because your wife was injured, all this. So, I mean...
So you hired a personal injury attorney?
Yeah. We went to the attorney's office, and when I got there and we spoke to the attorney, everything was good. He said, hey, you have a good case. We're going to handle everything. We're going to deal with the liability, the medical. At that time, he said he was dealing with the medical first. But again, I feel that what happened once, it's just my opinion, and I just really feel this, everything changed. His whole attitude changed as far as how much we can get on the case, everything. Then he said that she only had a $20,000 case. That was her insurance or whatever. That's the most I would be able to get out of her. And after that as well, when I would call, Jeff would call me and say, hey, what's going on with the case after a while? And I would say, hey, I'm waiting on the attorney. They wouldn't even call me back. I'm waiting for a call back. And then when I would call, she would say, well, he's out of the office. He's not here.
Did you ever think about going through your insurance?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
Because I wasn't at fault.
Right, but you weren't getting any money from the other insurance company. You said the case was closed.
Well, this is before that. At this time, they were saying everything was going to be handled. In the beginning of it, when he was calling me, and a year later, I kept getting the same situation. Oh, it's going to be handled. Mr. Harris, just take it easy. This takes time. So,
did you have insurance?
Yes, I did.
In your answer, you say something about not renewing your insurance.
At that time, I had took the car to be fixed, and they were saying that something about the car wasn't going to be, I'd end up paying more money for my vehicle. So at that time, my insurance did elapse at that time.
On your car that was in the shop being worked on?
Right.
But you didn't have this Cadillac insured?
No, he had full coverage on it.
No, I know, but Mr. Suttles, you state in your complaint that Robert agreed to the terms, he showed me proof of insurance.
Yes.
So he wasn't going to cover the Cadillac under his insurance. He was expecting you to.
Right. I feel that I didn't need to pay anything out of my pocket because I didn't want to use my insurance either.